Problem statement is write a function called GCD that takes parameters a and b and returns the greatest common divisor. So in this program, we are going to write a function. In Python, function is uh, the keyword for function is def, and then we can write the function name GCD, and it will take two parameters a comma b, and then it is supposed to return the GCD. Let us declare GCD as 1 and then return for the time being. We will fill the function later. So this is the function definition. GCD is the function name and this is the function keyword. And then it will take parameters a comma b, and then it will return GCD. As per the problem statement, we are supposed to read a and b from the input. So let us read both the values at the same time and let user enter a comma b by separating them with space. A comma b equal to input. Since they are separated by space, we need to split the values and then assign first value to a and second value to b. For example, if the user enters 10 comma 20, then split function will divide these two values based on the space, and 10 gets assigned to a and 20 gets assigned to b. This is how the split works. By default, it separates the values with space unless we specify a specific character inside the split function. But the values will be read in the form of string. Like if user enters 10 comma 20, then they will input will read them as 10 comma 20 in string form like this. So if you want to do math on these values, first we need to convert them into integer. We have a function here which will take a and b and then returns the GCD of a and b. So let us call that function GCD of here since a is in string form, we need to convert it into integer. And then the GCD is like greatest common divisor. Here what we are doing is whatever we read from input, we are passing those values to this GCD function, that is a comma b. These values are passed to this GCD function, and whatever GCD value this function returns, we are assigning that to greatest common divisor. Now we can print the GCD value. Let us take formatted print so that we can display the variables inside it. GCD of a comma is, this is the result return value of this GCD function. So since we have not filled the functionality inside this GCD function, this will always return 1. So let us test this and see how the values are working. Like let us give 20 comma 40 as the values. See, GCD of 20 comma 40 is 1. Since we are returning 1 always, it is printing 1. Now let us fill this function with the logic to calculate the GCD. So GCD is greatest common divisor, right? Like the number which divides both a and b without any remainder. Among those, whatever is the greatest value, we are supposed to find out that. So here see, let us take the numbers as 12 comma 40. Let us take a is 12 and b is 40. If you take a look at these numbers, the greatest common divisor cannot exceed 12, because beyond 12 it cannot divide 12 without any fraction. So the greatest common divisor will be less than the minimum number of a comma b. So if 12 is the minimum, 40 is maximum, then GCD will always be less than 12. In case there is no GCD between these two numbers, we are going to return the GCD as 1. So this is how we need to calculate. So first what we are supposed to do is we need to find out the minimum among a and b. So min number comma max number equal to a comma b if a is less than b, else b comma a. I'll explain this. So what we are trying to do here is we are assigning a to the minimum number, b to the maximum number if a is less than b. Else we are assigning b to the minimum number and a to the maximum number. So what we are trying to find out here is minimum number will always hold the less value and maximum number will always hold the greater value among a and b. Once we find out the minimum and maximum, first what we need to check is we need to find out a simple solution can be sometimes the minimum number can be the GCD. That is a GCD. See, this is the minimum number, right? Suppose this is 48. Then 12 is the GCD because this is the greatest number because no number can be beyond 12. No GCD can be beyond 12. So 12 is the maximum GCD we can have. So first we need to check if 12 is 48 can be divided by 12 without any remainder. So for this what we are doing here is if max number mod operator. Mod operator will tell us if there is any remainder or not. Min number equal to 0, then return min number. Min number is the GCD. So here what we are trying to do is if 48 can, if we can divide 48 with 12 without any remainder, then 12 is the GCD. That is what we are doing here in the first if block. In case if this is 40, then this is false, right? We will have remainder always. 40 by 12 you will get remainder, so this will never be 0. So in that case, first let us assume GCD as GCD equal to 1. Like if we don't find any GCD, then GCD will be 1. In case we find a GCD value, we will replace this GCD with the GCD value. So now what we have to do is from 2 to, see, 1 is already considered as GCD, right? From 2 to up to minimum number only we need to find out. Let us understand the logic with the sample numbers. Let us assume a equal to 5 and b equal to 7. So these are the numbers. So here minimum number is 5 and maximum number is 7. So this if loop will fail because if you take mod operation, then there will be remainder. 7 by 5 will give 2 as the remainder. So we control will come here, and GCD is 1 by default. In this case, particular case, GCD 1 because we don't have any divisor which is common between these two except 1. So to understand it, like how we are going to approach, first what we need to do is, since 1 is already considered as GCD here, so from 2 onwards up to 5 we need to try if there is any common divisor for these two. That is 2 to 5, because beyond 5 we are not going to check, because beyond 5 this will there will not be any common divisor between these two. So up to minimum number only we need to try. That too not this number, one number less than, because this number is already tried here. So we already did 7 by 5 here, right? So 5 is already considered. So we need to try, 1 is already here. So we need to consider 2 to 2, 3, 4. These 3 numbers we need to try if they can divide these 2 numbers. Okay. So this is the logic we are going to implement. So for number in range 2 comma min number, right? So from 2 to this min number, so the numbers, the range will produce 2, 3, 4 here in this case, in this particular case, if the minimum number is 5. So we have to try if 2 can divide these two. We need to try then 3 can divide these two. And then we need to try if 4 can divide these two. Like that, if you find any GCD, we need to assign that GCD. We need to replace the existing GCD. So this logic is clear, right? So what we are trying to do here is if uh, so this is the logic. So what we are trying to do is this num is one of these values, that is from 2 to up to this minimum number. Since we put minimum number in the range function, max will this max number will be excluded, so it will consider only 2, 3, 4, 2 to min number. So we are going to divide this min number and this max number with this number. This number will become 2 first. In the second iteration, it will become 3. In the third iteration, it will become 4. So with all these numbers, we are trying to divide both min number and max number. If both are divisible completely without any remainder, then we are replacing GCD with the num value. Suppose 2 is a match, then we are going to assign GCD as 2. In case in the further iterations, if 3 or 4 is a match, then we are going to replace existing GCD with the next number. So at the end of the for loop, what we are going to get is the maximum GCD, the maximum number which can divide both these. In case there is no number, like if this if loop is not success, this if logic is not successful in any of the cases like 2, 3, 4, then the GCD will remain as 1. So here we are going to return GCD. Let us try this. 12 comma 24. So 12 is the GCD. Let us give 5 space 7, and since there is no common divisor, so the value is 1 here. Next, let us give 6 space 9, and here the GCD is 3. And let us add some help before this input. So here na enter the two numbers separated by space. So that user will know like what to enter. Okay, and this is the end of the program.